From our vantage point, we do see thick plumes of black smoke rising from the direction into the air of Pearl Roundabout here in Manama. We've also seen white smoke earlier. Witnesses tell us that was tear gas that had been dispersed by security forces trying to clear Pearl Roundabout. Also, we've heard a lot of heavy gunfire in the past 30 minutes, not just from the direction of Pearl Roundabout, from several directions surrounding this specific area of the capital city. We also see at least 2 tanks that are blocking access to the highway that takes people in the direction of Pearl Roundabout. And just in the last few minutes, we heard ambulance sirens going in the direction. Now, we've spoken to people on the ground. They say that they are under attack. We've spoken to witnesses here saying that this is an attack in which the security forces of Bahrain are showing no mercy. What we don't know yet at this point is, are the security forces that are attacking right now, are they comprised of any of the GCC forces, or is this strictly Bahrain security forces trying to disperse the protesters at this time? One more thing to add, we've seen at least 5 military helicopters circling the area, hovering above Pearl Roundabout, so certainly looking like a crackdown in full effect right now, and we're trying to get an idea of have there been injuries or casualties. We'll keep monitoring and update you as we know more. Michael?
Yeah, and Mohammed, of course, just to explain the anger that there has been on the streets among the protesters at the arrival of those foreign troops, especially Saudi troops crossing the causeway there into Bahrain. There were marches on the embassy. What is the level of anger about their involvement?
The anger has ratcheted up exponentially the past 2 days since the troops came in. Although the Bahrainis tried to present this as some sort of almost a liberation, the way the images were of the tanks coming, the armored personnel carriers coming in to Bahrain from the causeway that connects Saudi Arabia to the Kingdom of Bahrain. Citizens here are quite angry. We've heard it a lot from opposition figures and protesters and Shiites here saying that they see this as tantamount to a declaration of war on them. We spoke to people yesterday saying that this was actually a cowardly act, that the King of Bahrain should never have asked for help from foreign forces. This really seems to be stoking the sectarian tension here that was already in high gear the last few days. As you know, Bahrain, a predominantly Shiite country, 70% of the population Shiite, government is Sunni. When you see forces from Sunni countries entering this country, the protesters, the people on the streets, that makes them very angry. I spoke to one person yesterday who told me that Bahrain was being used as a pawn by a lot of different countries in the region right now to try to send a message to various populations not to rise up. I spoke to Sunnis and Shiites yesterday that said that this should not be happening. This is an internal Bahraini matter. GCC forces should never have entered this country. They're particularly upset that the Saudis have entered this country. The Saudis, as you know, they've had not uprisings, but they've had protests going on the last couple of weeks from pockets of Shiite population in the eastern province, which is close to Bahrain. The nightmare scenario for Saudi Arabia has always been that uprisings in Bahrain by the Shiite population here would cause Shiites in Saudi Arabia to rise up. They believe they might be seeing that now. So the Saudi government clearly has a stake in coming here, trying to send a message of support to the Bahrainis, but also a message to the Shiite population of Saudi Arabia that protesting is not enough.
And Mohammed, this was always the big fear when those protests first started in Bahrain, that this could become sectarian. The dangers of that taking place are myriad, are they not?
Oh, absolutely. And now you're seeing also Iran entering the fray. Yesterday, you had Iran condemning the violence here, and they were saying that the Bahrainis should practice restraint. That's not really a surprise. Iran typically gets involved and issues statements when they perceive a Shiite population of any country in the Gulf states to be oppressed or under attack of some sort. So that wasn't a surprise. But that angered the Gulf Cooperation Council countries. And then you had Bahrain withdrawing their ambassador from Tehran, bringing him back to Bahrain. That's only going to ratchet up the tension between those two countries. And you'll see Iran exchanging words with Saudi Arabia, with Bahrain. You'll see a lot of these sectarian tensions that are already here. They've been underlying. Now they're really coming up to the fore. They've been bubbling up, especially since the uprisings that have been going on in Libya and Egypt. You'll see this coming up more and more people, especially in Bahrain, saying that the level of sectarianism here really becoming dangerous. I spoke to one person here yesterday, was concerned that at some point, if this doesn't stop, if the tension doesn't de-escalate, this could become some sort of civil war.